past with business? You know, where are we? What's the struggles? What have we found difficult? You know, like, I'm going to be truthful, is that when we went to lunch, you know, you said, I wish 2024 would be fucking over now.
This is John.
And this is Nick.
And this is
How It Is.
Feels like there's been so many battles this year and catching up and changes that it feels like I feel like we've got some good plans for 2025, but it feels like just want professionally for the year to now end and just go, can we just start a new year? But it feels like you can't start it early, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like you need to wait. And like I'm half bored of 2024, half excited for 2025, but like there feels like there's a couple of weeks left that need to fuck off.
I always kind of like, it's like snakes and ladders. You know what I mean? You get on this really good run, you get up to the top, and next thing you know, you hit that kind of snake and you go, wee, 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 and you go right back down to the beginning, and you go, what happened? Everything was going so well. And then, I don't know, the FCA will come in and do something, just change something, or, you know, just look at, like, since we've been doing this, look at the big things that that have happened. You know, commission disclosure just recently. You know, DCA.
Well, the DCA before that,
yeah.
Consumer duty, vulnerability. I think one thing that is frustrating, and, you know, we've been a fairly small business, certainly up to, you know, more recent times. And it's some of the things that have come out of things we've been talking about and tried to make people take seriously, but we're only one small voice. And then when they come along, and it feels like if we'd have been able to have that impact earlier, there wouldn't be so much of a panic. That's not to say we'd have helped everyone, but like equally, it's like, I don't know, it's just frustrating sometimes. You want to try and do the right things, and no one's interested until it's too late.
Yeah, and that's the key.
And then they still don't want to value it.
Yeah, you know, and excuse me, there's a lot that's been going on, you know, and over the years, we've built systems and processes purposely not for now, but for, as we've said, for 3, for 4, for 5 years' time, for those CMCs, the ambulance chasers, as you've always called them, to before they start knocking the door and going, if you follow our processes, which we make as easy as possible, it's there, it's fluid, it's nice. If you follow that, you'll have no problems 4 or 5 years down the line. Now, I have mates who are car dealers, and they ring us up or ring me up and they go, I've just had this FOS complaint, or I've just had this, where's my IDD? And I go, well, did you use the system? Did you send out? No. Why not? We wouldn't even be having this conversation.
And it's never, thanks for doing that for me. It's, well, this is bollocks. Why have I had to do this? This is unfair. And maybe it is, but, you know, like, sometimes it'd just be nice to go, we value you.
Yeah.
We value what you do.
Yeah.
And I think that can be really frustrating sometimes is, you know, people think we've grown this big business and all the rest of it, and we must be millionaires and all the rest of it. Well, if it is, my wife's been siphoning off very quickly because, you know, we're still trying to work out how people can value more what we do. It's really frustrating.
Yeah. And, you know, from a struggle from a business where, you know, I think you use a great expression. You said you stole it. You can't remember who from. Well, we have changed as a business.
Yeah. So I can't remember who I stole it from, but I think they stole it from someone else. I heard it on a business video, which is one of the hardest things is transitioning from being a big, small business to a small, big business. Now that hit me like a rock. And I've said it to a few other people who I felt were in the same situation. And I've spoke to them a couple of weeks later and they've gone, Jesus, Nick, I haven't been able to think about anything else since.
Yeah.
If you take a second to think about it, it really does hit you hard. And the meaning behind it is when you're a big, small business, you're probably doing really well, but you're still in control of everything. But you've either got to stay at that level. But if you want to get bigger, you're now in the same area as a big business, but maybe without the resources, without personnel, without the experience, without the structure. You've now got to let go of things directly, which means you've got to manage managers, or you've got to have operating procedures. You've got to trust people to put the same passion in as you. You may have to outsource. You may have to employ new people and more expensive people. And there's just so much that comes with that. That even if you're willing to do it, willing to let go, it just brings a lot of operational challenges. And ultimately, you'll make less money until you get to a much bigger level.
Yeah, and it's for me, it's been hard. It's been really, really, really hard, and frustrating. I think that's the thing. It's the thing about running my own business is I get frustrated so much by things. I want things yesterday anyway. Yeah, and I'm renowned for that. But I don't know. It's this stuff snakes and ladders. It's when we got to kind of go back and go, Christ, I was better off 2 years ago. Do you know?
Yeah.
You go, but I got more hassle, I got more headaches, I got more stress, and less money, and I don't know. It's
But one thing I do take solace from, and again, this might not go out, but right when we're recording it, but we've just had the Christmas party, and I said to a few people, it's kind of like, you look around and we've not just created jobs, we've created careers for people.
Yeah.
And there's so many people who now work for us that, let's be honest, they're not going to work for us forever.
Yeah.
The business might not be with us forever or be around forever. But there are people who we've given opportunity in compliance. They've made themselves a compliance guy or a compliance person, and they will have a great career. And I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
And I know you are, so that we will have people who go on to do great things. And we don't just feed our own family, we feed other people's families. And I take that really personally, that when we're doing things, it's about what we create for others.
Well, you said a couple of times, probably because you were a couple of shots to the
couple of cheeky bit toes or whatever it was we were drinking. Yeah.
I don't know what you were drinking. You were doing Jaeger bombs. Jaeger bombs. But and you just went, Christ, take a step back, or Rixie, take a step back. Look at all this.
Yeah.
This is us. We've done this. Yeah. And like all the teams from Swansea, from Wolverhampton, all just dancing there at once, all having a really good time. And you're kind of like, did we really do this? Did we really kind of,
that transcends what you make, what you achieve.
Yeah.
I just think we've built something, and it's something special, and the guys enjoy it, and I do feel really proud of it.
Yeah, I'm very, very proud of it. And I couldn't be prouder of the staff and the effort they put in. And I said it in my speech that their aptitude, their attitude, the commitment to the company, the commitment to do good, to do well, to do better for themselves. A couple of them said, I want to earn more money, I want to get a higher. Great, no problem with that.
Yeah.
It's when people don't want to do that, they don't hop on with the project, they don't get on, and they want to battle you all the time.
Well, on that though, and I don't know if I mentioned it then or previously, there was someone who left, and they left because the staff said they weren't good enough. The staff actually came to their manager and went, this person isn't working hard enough, they're disrupting us.
Yeah.
We care and we want to do it. And I thought, that isn't that powerful, that the guys are going, we don't accept this person because they're not bringing to the party what we need to be successful. That just really shows that they've brought into their work and they're proud of it.
Yeah.
And I've seen sometimes when we've had tricky applications approved by the FCA, that there's someone's like, I'm going to go and crack open a bottle of wine tonight. I'm so happy that they're like, they don't need to care about that. But we, and that's all of us, really share in the victories of our clients, and that's really nice too.
You say that, we have a member of staff who works for us, and she worked for a big bank for 10 years, who unfortunately I worked for as well. And she said to me, in that 10 years I was there, I just plodded on. I wasn't pushed. I wasn't done. I didn't learn. She said, every day with the compliance guys, I learn something. Every day is different. Every day I really have to think about what I want to do. She said, I've never felt so invigorated in all my life. She said, all my life. You know, and she worked for, I think, Marks and Spencer's, and she said, they really look after their staff. And she said, you know, you guys are just amazing. Shucks.
I think as well, for compliance people, so not our sales or tech people or whatever, there are compliance officers, compliance managers, etc., working for companies, and their whole day is battling against people to try and make compliance important.
Yeah.
I think what people don't realize when they work for the compliance guys, or before they work for the compliance guys, is you get to do compliance every day, and no one's going, don't be compliant.
Yeah.
There's no pushback, because ultimately we are practicing compliance every day. Yeah. We're helping people with compliance who welcome it. Certainly the ones once they've paid us or once they work with us. That's got to be quite refreshing, that you're not facing an uphill battle every day with operations to go, no, to get compliance.
Yeah.
That's quite invigorating.
Oh, yeah, I think so. You know, so we've spoken about frustrations. What about, and we have spoken a little bit about, you know, what gives us kind of that buzz of, you know, just like giving it back to the people and the thing. Is there anything else that kind of, I don't know, it's kind of blowing your mind a bit since you've been doing this? Is there anything that's, you thought, wow, just, I don't know, I kind of look at it nearly on a daily basis. Or like last night, I'm looking through my photos, believe it or not, for a picture of my dog. And I came across the video of like coming in here in January 2023. And the place is just like a wreck. And I look at this now, and I'm sitting here talking to you. And he's in a studio, you know, with the compliance guys here, you know, which we've trademarked. We've got a green screen, we got the white screen, we got the everything, all his cameras, and going, look, nothing like this coming up to 2 years ago now. And how far we've come in that time, you know, in a busy office, everything going off in here. And, you know, that makes me proud. But I still feel in a way that we failed. That way we could do so much better. We could do so much more.
I guess we always have to think that way.
Yeah.
We always have to think that we can do better and more.
I think I know as well. Again, it goes back to the frustrations that I know so much more is coming. You know, we can't talk about too much of it, but we have so much more to come. You know, people have always thought. I heard there was rumors going around that we were going to be bought up last year or something like that. Somebody told me, and it's news to us, by the way. But you know, I don't know where I was going with this with regards to being bought up, but we've been offered. That was it. We got offered we went somewhere. Again, I won't say it was a rubbish price of the company, and they didn't really look too much into it.
Not that we were wanting to anyway.
But we didn't. And our argument was we haven't even scratched the surface yet. We haven't even got near what we.
I feel like we still haven't scratched the surface.
Again, but that's my frustration. And I just want it now. I want to kind of like push it and
sell.
Well, it's like if the money's right, I'd sell my mother.
It's funny you always say that, isn't it? Like you always should set a business up as if you're going to sell it, even if you have to, even if you have no intention of. But despite all the frustrations, we enjoy building something.
Yeah, and it goes back to that. It's not about the money. You know, don't get me wrong. It would be nice to have more money. It would be nice, you know, for profit within the business and for ourselves. However, it goes back to us doing this for a couple of years. And I said, oh, Nick, where's my wage? Do I get a wage slip? And he went, you've always had one. And he went, didn't you ever go there? I went, yeah. I've never been in there. And he went, how do I do it? And he went like, really? I went, yeah, I need one by all accounts for something. I can't remember what it was. And he was like, and he went, do you know how much you get paid? I'm like, no, not really. And he's like, but that's not the end game for me. The end game is how we can just make this the best we possibly can. And, you know, I feel it's not the best it possibly can be. And I don't think it ever will be.
No.
And again, I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah, we're always going to strive for doing better. That's just who we are.
Yeah. So what else? What else have we found frustrating, or we found good, or easy, or hard?
I honestly don't know. Honestly don't know. I tell you what, sometimes you kind of said it before, but every day can feel like you're winning, you're losing,
Yeah.
you're happy, you're not happy, and it all happens within one day. But you said before that it feels like it's snakes and ladders, but I never expected it to be any different. Like, I never expected everything to be smooth sailing. Equally, when you experience it, you still can't prepare for it.
That's right. Because like don't they reckon something like 80% of new startup businesses fail? Isn't it something like that?
80% of stats are made up.
Yeah, 70. It's actually 76.6.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
But yeah, a large number of businesses fail within, I think it's half within 5 years and 80% within 10 years, whatever it is.
Yeah, so that just goes to show how well we've done there. I think the thing that surprised
We've not got
me-
to 5 years yet, by the way.
I know, it's coming up. But I think the thing that surprised me is staff. The difficulty of just having so many staff and how to manage that, and or to lead it so much. I think we've got a good bunch of people now, really good and loyal staff, but still, it's like
the difference between good staff and not so good staff, not necessarily bad staff, is absolutely remarkable. It's like some people you think are doing a good job, and it's only when sometimes they leave of their own accord, and then you get someone else and you're like, wow, like you just don't realize how different people can be. And most of the time it comes down to that self-respect that they've got and in the job they do. Part of it, I always take responsibility for everything. Part of it is how you lead them, train them, whatever. But ultimately, people are very, very different.
Absolutely, including us. Look at me and you. How different we are.
Yeah, you actually like doing podcasts.
I don't mind it. I must apologize that we're both very, very tired. I think the Christmas party has taken its toll on us. The whole year has taken its toll on us. My wife watched the first one and she went, "You look knackered." I was like, "Cheers."
Wait till you see this one.
And I was 11 pounds heavier in that one. That was only about last month.
I think I was about 11 pounds lighter.
So, yeah, I've managed. No, you look exactly the same. I've managed to lose some weight because I was so embarrassed about myself, my appearance in the last one. Disgusted with myself. So
there you go. I don't think that was anything to do with business. Little personal note.
Yeah, but then you say that, in reality, to run a business, you should have a healthy mind, a healthy diet, have enough sleep. And do you know what? I'm going to say this. And you came in, you probably said it privately to me, but I'm going to air your thing. But one of the first was you sat down with me this morning and you're like, I'm knackered. I'm going to London on Thursday. And do you know what I'm thinking of doing? This is what he said. I'm thinking of turning off my mobile phone and not answering any messages, any calls, or any emails, and spending it with my family. And I went, yeah, you can do that. I don't know if he actually still will be able to go through with it.
I've only had,
that's business.
We've been on a couple of trips like Formula One and that, but this year I've only had one holiday, which is 5 days in Spain, nice and laid back, pretty cheap, basic holiday. But I still worked the whole way through it. I'd be in the pool or out with the kids, but then I was still doing my emails, calls, lots of, and I do that because I want to do it. But I think sometimes even just that one day of being able to go, and that's fine if they're off playing and stuff even, or they're on their iPads in the evening or whatever. But I think I just feel like I need to take that one day of just being completely present. And now seems a good time. We've got everything pretty much in hand. To some degree, certain things have wound down for the year. Certainly from meetings and stuff. I think from our side. So it seems a good time.
I would absolutely strangle a beach holiday.
Yeah, me too.
38, 40 degrees heat, right? Well, not a beach, so much a beach holiday, but just by a pool, right? And like, I don't drink alcohol, so I'd be happy with a Sprite, a diet Sprite.
I don't really drink much on holiday.
Yeah, and I just sit there and a couple of books. You know, I got Steve Bartlett's Diary of a CEO to read. I hadn't.
Has he not been banned yet?
What is it? Is that to do with his drink? Is
No,
going it's
to
on
do
about
with-
something like
it's to do with
nutritional
his,
advice, isn't it, or something?
People aren't happy about the advice that his guests give, but I think that's a little bit dangerous. Like it's not for him to know exactly what's the truth and what's not, is it?
Well, yeah, I totally, yeah.
Unless he starts getting regulated by the FCA.
maybe we should go on that.
Right. What's one tip for business that you learned specifically in 2024?
Oh, one tip for business. Can I come back to you? I can't think of one.
No, I'll put you on the spot. You need to answer.
Yeah. One tip for business is don't listen to anybody by your fucking self.
Even me. Oh God.
I'll listen to you, but in like I don't know. I think at times I think there's a lot of bad advice out there as well. Something that slightly winds me up is that people will be kind of going, why aren't you doing this with your company? Why aren't you doing that with your company? And I'm all for having advice, right? But it's like, why aren't you doing this market? Why aren't you doing, because we didn't want to do that market. That you're comparing apples with oranges, you know? I felt that 2024, we've had a lot of, that come into us. Look, my body language now. See, I'm getting all thing. So I'll just, it's kind of, it pissed me off a little bit. It's going, well, I didn't want your advice. And, that's the way it is. We've run this company. This is our market. Yeah, we understand that it doesn't pay us as it should. We have things in plan, for 2025. However, I don't want to do what you're asking us to do, but you should. Do you know? So I don't want to listen to fucking other people.
Mine's similar, I suppose, but a slight difference in that I think I've always worried too much about what people think, and it's kind of like they don't really care.
Yeah,
but I'm probably more sensitive to other people than you are.
Yeah.
But like, I've definitely spent too much time thinking I don't want to do that in case people get the wrong idea, and ultimately they're not going to pay our staff, pay our wages, help our families or anything else.
I do not give a single flying fuck what other people think about me or my business or how I should run it, if truth be told. I will do it as I feel necessary. And there are no fucks given. I do not care.
As long as you're doing it for the right reasons.
And I am doing it for the right reasons.
But that's what I mean. It's not
and that's it. And I have conviction in
for
that.
those you care about.
I have conviction on what I want to do and how I want to do it. If somebody comes along and says, I don't think you should be doing that because of this, that, and the other, I go, well, I don't really give a fuck. So there you go.
And on that note,
that's how it is, isn't it?
That's how it is. Definitely is how it is. Wow, Rixie. Wow. I don't give a flying fuck right now. Jesus.
I don't.
I haven't paused it. Just you can pull out actual.
You can just do that.
So I think sometimes it's difficult to talk about business.
Sorry, but
are you ready?
I burped. As you went to do, I went burp.
Are you now ready?
Yes.
So sometimes I think it's quite hard actually to talk about your own business because you either feel like people are going to judge you on it, or it's hard even sometimes to self-reflect and get your words out about how you feel, because sometimes I just feel like we just kind of live your business and it's hard to describe it to anyone externally.
I agree. It's still, you used the word surreal as well on Saturday night, when you went, this is all surreal, that it's us who've
Even
done
doing
this.
the podcast is surreal.
It is. I totally agree. Sorry, I got some windy pops here. You can edit that out or not. I don't care. it is surreal, and it will be until somebody comes along and wants to buy us. And
Why do you keep talking about something to buy us?
maybe that's because I'm so tired. For sale. Joking. I'm joking.
Can you explain to them that this bit is supposed to be the outro where he's not actually talking to the cameras and stuff? This is supposed to just be me and you talking about the podcast. Yeah.
I'm gonna move that over to that.
Right, we'll do that bit again. The whole point is it's not now the pod, it's just me and you talking about the episode.
Okay.
Ready? For fuck's sake.
Oh, I'm just going slightly mad now.
It's funny talking about like business on a podcast episode because it's like it's hard to explain to people externally about what you do, and I sometimes feel like people just like, oh, it's okay for you or whatever, but maybe there's people watching who, you know, are in that same situation and
What, just starting up? I think or just 5 years.
or just like running a business and have the same pressure. We watch other people talking about their businesses, and I guess as long as you're the right person, watch it. Maybe it connects with you.
Am I allowed to say a tiny little story? Like a friend of mine, he quit car sales. He wanted to get out. He wanted to get out of the game. He became too cynical, and he just found the pressure's too hard. And he decided to open up a cafe. That was his dream. He loved cooking, and he set up a cafe. And I rang him up a month or two in, and first month I rang him, like, how's it going? Your food looks tremendous. He's like, oh, it's brilliant. Because any business starts off, goes up, you there, and then it starts to dip. And that's not just the actual business. It kind of, your business will plateau to a degree. But I think it's your enthusiasm for it as well.
Mm.
You know, you start disagreeing with it. And even when you have a new job, it goes up like that. Then people start pissing you off and you go down. And then you start to go back up again. And then you end up halfway.
It's when things stop being new as well,
Yeah,
especially from the customer point of view.
Absolutely. And it's regression to the mean. So people just go back to what they used to do. And, you know, I said to him, it was only last week, and this is easily 6 months he's been doing this. And he went, this weekend, which is last weekend just gone, it's the last weekend of it. I'm closing down the cafe. I'm like, but that was your dream. And he went, I know. He said, I'm driving for a courier company now. I'm like, wow. And he's like, yeah. He said, but I give it a go. I give it my best shot, and it didn't work. The money wasn't there. And that kind of...
Do you know what that reminds me of those? And it's not to criticize your mate because I don't know the business. So like, this is a general point, is too many people run a business because they want to do that thing.
Yeah.
And what I've realized is that every business is actually the same.
Yeah.
Like, you either sell a product or a service or do something, and it's just a business. It doesn't matter whether the service we offer is compliance or any other service. And it doesn't matter if you sell hot dogs or you sell cakes or you sell iPads. It's just a business. And if you do it because you're just passionate about that product or service, you'll only get you so far. And if you want to then go past that, you have to just run that business separately. I say to car dealers quite often is, you might be selling cars, but all you're actually doing is trying to get one amount of money and turn it into a bigger amount of money.
Yeah.
And if you care about how much money you make on that one particular car, or get precious about one particular customer, you're not going to run an effective business. It is just a numbers game.
Absolutely.
And if your guy or anyone else is just going, I'm doing that because I really want to do well,
was it because
that's not good. That's not enough.
It goes back to, was it because his emotional state is that I like this, I want to do that, but then, you know, emotion got in the way of logic. You know, the money is not there, the margin isn't there, unless you're, I don't know, an really successful fish and chip shop, which is huge amount of footfall.
But you look at, like, you compare selling food in a cafe to fashion.
Yep.
Yeah, is if you don't refresh the fashion, people stop buying those clothes. They don't buy flared jeans forever. So, what do you need to do with the menu? How do you analyze what people are buying? That's the kind of things you would do if it was someone else's business. So when it's yours, you have to do the same things.
You say fashion. I started off in menswear retail.
That's why I said it.
You have 2 bad seasons, and that's a game over.
Yeah.
Because remember, you got to buy now for winter next year, pretty much.
Or even as a fashion designer, but it's the same. If you went into a business, you'd look at these things. But sometimes when it's your own, you're like, well, I like making those Cornish pasties, so that's what I'm going to say. It's not the same thing, is it?
Because that analogy as well of the fashion is that that customer is always right. Did you see that with Noel Gallagher? And he said the customer is not always right. The customer hasn't got a bloody clue. And he said, let's just look at fashion houses. So if Chanel keep on doing the same thing over and over and over again, nobody's going to buy it. No. So you, Chanel, have to come up with a new idea and say, this is what you're going to wear. You're going to love it. Look at Hendrix. Hendrix came along, played something completely different, or even the Beatles, or any of these. Elvis Presley came along, and everybody hated it. But guess what? They then loved it.
Yeah.
So you got to tell them what to do.
Is that like compliance? Everyone hates it, but soon they're going to love it, yeah?
Well, I think that's what we did with the Drive app or the Test Drive app, certainly. We know it's good. We know that they should use it. It's getting that across to dealers and going, we're giving this to you for free. This will cure a hell of a lot of your problems. So stop a hell of a lot of your problems for now and the future.
Change.
But the culture change is very, very difficult. So we are the Elvis, maybe. We're the rock and roll of compliance.
There you go. In the comments, make sure you comment. What's your favourite music? Something random. And like and subscribe and all that jazz.
Yeah.